Good evening, everybody. We are the DuCross brothers. Along my side, as always, is my partner in crime, the one and only. I'm Tristen DuCross. Along my side, as always, is my brother, Shaun DuCross. Oi, what a show do we have in store for everybody tonight. Shaun, UFC 250 is right around the corner. Headlined by Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. We even have, over the weekend, something that you and I predicted, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we'll talk about that towards the back half of the show.
But it's been a crazy kind of like whirlwind, if you so to speak, because when you're looking at UFC 250 and the preview that is going to happen on Saturday, Shaun, is that Amanda Nunes, kind of the greatest of all time right now in terms of the women's, correct? Kind of easily to say right now?
I guess you could kind of say that. I mean, the biggest thing that I was running as I was looking at this UFC 250 this weekend is the fact that when you look at Felicia Spencer and you look at like appeal, I guess you could say, Tristen, and she's not really that appealing. She is hardworking. She is determined. She took Cyborg Justino to the distance. So she has.
But was she really ever really in that fight?
Oh yeah, she was very competitive. That fight was a lot more competitive than anybody ever wants to give credit for. When you could take a brawler like Cyborg the distance, that's enough to get recognition like you've never had before. Because not a lot of women did that. And you look at how do we get here? Amanda Nunes basically has cleared out the entire division.
Oh, hands down.
In both the bantamweight and the featherweight division. She's knocked off who's who of who's champions. So you look at this bout and you see, well, a question comes to mind.
What's the question?
The question that comes to mind is, and I didn't want to really put it out there, but I'm going to.
Drop it, Shaun.
Did Amanda Nunes take this fight seriously? And I say that, Tristen, for the simple fact that when you look at this fight, you look at the fact that Spencer took Cyborg the distance. Yes, you know what? At the end of the day, was it Amanda Nunes beat Cyborg?
Amanda Nunes didn't just beat Cyborg, Shaun. She took the soul from Cyborg.
True. And
Felicia Spencer, the only thing that scares me about Felicia Spencer is because nobody's giving her credit. Like, no credit. Coming into this fight, she is an underdog. And don't get me wrong, she was the Invicta featherweight champion. She earned it. She earned her stripes. She's coming off an amazing run in Invicta. I get it. 2-1 since her call up in the UFC. Had a huge win against Megan Anderson. My two questions, my book says, and new.
He burst my bubble, Tristen.
I kind of think that
he burst my bubble.
Right? There's two questions that come to light. Is this a new era? Or does the Queen's reign runs rampant? The good thing about Felicia Spencer is that she is one of the most durablest featherweights and she can take damage. The thing is, she hasn't really faced that woman that had all the tools put together. Because you could say what you want about Cyborg, but once you kind of matched her intensity and matched her power, and that's what Amanda Nunes did, it kind of was the blueprint at dominating Cyborg.
You want to know what I can say about this, Tristen? Want to know what I can say about this? Is we discussed years ago that when Miesha Tate took on Ronda Rousey, we kept saying
there was a blueprint out there.
Was out there.
Yep.
The blueprint was there.
And the blueprint's out there now on Amanda Nunes.
Absolutely. The blueprint is that you got to weather the storm. Yeah, I know. She finally got over her Achilles heel and showcased that she has the endurance to go full 5 rounds. Yeah, I'll give her that. But as somebody who is a go-getter, yes, she went to the distance with Shevchenko. But that was a strongly contested bout between the both women.
Bikini 10, yeah.
And you look at the fact that when you look at that bout, you look at Amanda Nunes, she got tired by the third round. If Felicia Spencer has the endurance, like she does, and she can weather the storm, the blueprint is out on Amanda Nunes. Yeah, she is the best pound-for-pound woman in the
scary power
entire mixed martial arts. But the blueprint's out there. The blueprint is there. It's which female fighter is going to take that. Because how many fighters did it take after Miesha Tate put out the blueprint on Ronda Rousey
several.
before she got taken down?
Several.
It took until Holly Holm came. And what was that? The blueprint was be patient on Ronda Rousey. Let Ronda Rousey come to you, and then you weather the storm. And as long as you do that and keep your distance and don't get sucked in, never get to the point where you get sucked into somebody else's game plan, because that's where you're going to lose 98% of the time. You're going to lose that way because, I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it is. A game plan is instilled when you go inside the cage for a reason. You're there to execute it. And by the end of the game time, you got to still be within yourself to execute it. And that's the thing that I think that a lot of people miss it, is the game plan. Never get outside of yourself, because you know what you're capable of doing. And I believe that to be true, Tristan. And I think that's what's, to me, scary with Felicia Spencer, is the fact that I don't see her being overwhelmed. I don't see the spotlight getting to her, because it didn't get to her against Cyborg Justino. So, at the end of the day, if she weathers the storm, we could be seeing an and new. I will not be surprised come Saturday if Felicia Spencer is walking out of that cage, turning the MMA world upside down and upsetting one of the best, if not the best, female mixed martial artists to ever step foot inside of a cage.
Bro, it is scary to think that we could possibly see a new champion walking out of the cage Saturday.
And then my question to that is that, okay, let's go back on the other side. If Amanda Nunes walks out as still reigning champion,
what's left for her?
There is literally nobody in the UFC women's divisions that she has not beaten nor taken down that is relatively a known commodity,
Shaun,
or somebody that is supposed to be competing for the number one contendership or the title.
5 title defenses. On 5 different occasions, she has defended the bantamweight title.
Yes.
This will be her first featherweight title defense. If she keeps defending the titles, she dominates another division. There is legit nothing for her to do in combat sports and mixed martial arts for the UFC at this point in time. She should go pull a Conor McGregor, go get some whiskey or whatever she drinks, and just chill out for a little while. Ain't nothing left for her to do except go out on a high note, because she has ran through the bantamweight division. Getting past Spencer means that she will go right through the featherweight division, because she is easily the toughest opponent that is left remaining in that featherweight division. Let's be real. There ain't nobody that's standing up to her face to face that can bully her, pick her apart, if you're looking on paper at this point. Except for this girl. And again, it comes down to the mindset. Who wants it? Who's into it?
Who's hungry? Who wants it more?
And that's kind of my question that I have with the Cody Garbrandt fight versus Rafael Assunção. Like, you're talking about a 37-year-old was once a top guy in the division. Cody Garbrandt, fastest rising star. But man, he was like Humpty Dumpty. He fell off that brick wall real quick.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Humpty Dumpty had to get put back together, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Humpty Dumpty is literally trying to put himself back together to get back onto that wall and look for another fight and another opportunity at that title. This is basically both of these guys' last attempt to grasp at whatever glory they have left to get to the top. Oh my God. I have no idea, honestly, but this card is weak, period. Weak. I mean, Sterling versus Cody Stanhagen.
If you want to look at why Cody Garbrandt is the co-main event, it's because of his name, and it goes to show exactly what you just said, how weak this card is. And again, my note to myself is, why is this a pay-per-view? I don't get the mindset of why the UFC does something like this, that the card is not a clear value.
Sean, this is the weakest card that I have seen.
No, it's not.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them. But it's not the weakest. You're talking about Cody, okay? I just saw something the other day that Cody has been battling demons and this and that on the other side of the pillow.
He should, dude. He's been knocked out 3 times.
So when you look at the transition period that we are in, and you look at what is laying in front of Cody, or looking in front of Ascensao. So it's almost written in stone that you're going to see Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo for the 135 title.
I can see that.
So essentially, this fight is the #1 contender's bout for that title.
Facts.
So because of that, you're then looking at the fact that that's why Cody and Ascensao is the co-main event. And the interesting thing is, though, Ascensao has been notoriously known as the gatekeeper of the division.
100%.
He's never been able to get over that hump and be a rising star to that title reign. He gets, and then he's facing a guy who's been there, done that. You know it's so bad, Tristan, that when you look at Cody flipped the script on this. Cody has a new jiu-jitsu expert.
Yeah, changed everything.
And Ricardo Almeida. If you know him, the dude's a beast. Then you switch it over, and you've got a new boxing trainer that's helping him out with his striking in Mark Henry.
Well, Sean, at some point, when you get lit up like a Christmas tree multiple times and you fall off the brick wall and you break yourself, and you literally have to have somebody put all the pieces back together, you have to start somewhere, right? Sometimes it's your camp, sometimes it's yourself. Maybe here it was a little bit of both for Cody. Maybe this could be his redemption story, that he could put things together and move it along, move it up the scale.
Maybe.
Get one last hurrah. Climb that ladder, get to the top one last time. I think that's what he wants. Going against a gatekeeper like Ascensao, it will be a good fight. I don't think it'll be noteworthy, because I think that we're going to see Cody go in there, and even though with new coaches, I still see a very, very reserved Cody, if that makes sense this time.
Yeah, I can see that, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say now is
Do you
the
think
time.
he's going out?
Better late than never. I see Ascensao putting an end to this by decision. And he's going to be the new #1 contender for the winner of Yan versus Aldo. And finally, he gets his due in the UFC.
Dude, speaking of, the guy that's on this card that's going to be getting his due, which I kind of think that it's in the making, is Alistair Sterling versus Cody Stanhagen. Because the winner of this ultimately will get a title shot for the vacated bantamweight. But also on this card that could be very interesting on this card, the only really noteworthy outside of Amanda Nunes is that I'm more intrigued about if Sterling wins, and then I look at all the way down the card and I see O'Malley on this card from bantamweight.
The guy that everybody talks about.
And I'm thinking, Sterling versus O'Malley, for the vacant bantamweight title. That would be exciting.
I think you'd get a lot of people talking, considering that Sean O'Malley is one of the prize prospects that the UFC currently has right now. The fact that he's undefeated, this fight that he's going into, I mean, it's all about him. You look at the fact that he can control the distance. He does it very well. He's flashy with his kicks. He's got straight line power. The guy is fantastic. There's nothing to say that inside the cage that you don't like about the guy.
No.
And you talk about Sterling. Sterling's an interesting cat because you go back, a year, 2 years ago? When he had that public spat with the UFC about like getting paid. I wish I could remember. But you look at that bout, and I think that's due for Sterling, because many people would have thought that Sterling was punished after his comments. That he was fighting so much to go up the food chain. And quite frankly, I believe that's probably why his fight is not the co-main event, is because the fact that UFC is still not ready to put him up there yet, because they still hold bad taste. That could be a little bit of it.
Could be a little bit.
Could be.
A little bit.
Could be.